Vas vidim toliko tudi ta popoldan.
You know where I come from, I don't mean Slovakia, but England.
Tam, odkoder sedaj prihajam, torej ne Slovaške, ampak iz Anglije.
There is nothing in the afternoon at Newbold Church.
V cerkvi v Newboldu nič ni popoldan.
So people have their own things.
Ljudje imajo svoje načrte, svoje stvari.
And I'm amazed that so many of you have chosen to stay after this morning.
In res sem navdušen, da vas je toliko se odločilo ostati tudi popoldan.
So, to have the full gospel,
Da bi imeli celovit evangelij,
we need to understand very well not just what Jesus has done on the cross,
ne rabimo razumeti samo dogodkov, ki so povezani z Jezusom na križu,
but what he will do as well with evil at the end.
in tega, kar je Jezus tam dosegel, ampak tudi s tem, kar bo naredil z zlom na koncu.
And in fact, as I will try to convince you during this series, the cross and also the salvation at the end, they go together.
In kot vas bom poskušal prepričati skozi niz teh predavanj, gresta križ in sodba na koncu skupaj.
You would be probably surprised that justification goes hand in hand with the judgment.
Mogoče bi bili presenečeni, da upravičenje gre pravzaprav z roko v roki s sodbo.
And so today I'd like to introduce this afternoon the big concept of what I call, or the Bible calls, the day of the Lord.
In zato bi danes popoldan rad spregovoril o velikem konceptu, veliki zamisli, ki jo Sveto pismo imenuje Gospodov dan.
And sometimes the shorthand for it is judgment.
Včasih je beseda, ki se kot okrajšava uporablja za to, beseda sodba.
But when we imagine judgment, we usually imagine one event, one thing.
Tudi, ko imamo v mislih in ko rečemo sodba, ponavadi pomislimo na en dogodek, na eno stvar.
But in the Bible it's far more complex, and I'd like to introduce you today to this more complex action of God called judgment.
V Svetem pismu pa gre za bolj kompleksen dogodek in s tem bi vas rad danes seznanil.
And I think it's very important to understand this, not only because of the salvation topic that we will speak about as well,
Mislim, da je zelo pomembno, da to razumemo, ne zaradi teme zveličanja, o kateri bomo ravno tako govorili,
not only because it's a gospel about how God removes evil,
ne samo zaradi tega, ker je to evangelij o tem, kako Bog odstranja zlo,
but also it's important because today, you may say, when you look at the media, the Hollywood, the YouTube, the books, we live today in an apocalyptic age.
ampak tudi zato, ker ko pogledamo v medijski svet, Hollywood, YouTube, knjige in ostale stvari, lahko preprosto ugotovimo in rečemo, da živimo v apokaliptičnem obdobju.
And different people have different views about the end.
In različni ljudje imajo različne poglede na konec.
So we better know what is the big day of the Lord about.
Zato želimo izvedeti, zakaj gre pri velikem Gospodovem dnevu.
These books, recently, I'm just showing you some books on the screen. These are popular books up there, you can see.
To, kar vidite pred seboj, so neke popularne knjige.
And one is from a Jewish scholar,
Ena je izpod peresa judovskega pisca,
Mark Biltz,
Mark Biltz.
and John Hagee is a famous evangelical pastor in America.
In John Hagee je znan pastor evangeljski v ZDA.
You know, we've been through the series of blood moons and solar eclipses and all sorts of things.
Nedavno tega smo dali skozi niz tako imenovanih krvavih lun in sončnih in lunenih mrkov.
And lo and behold, here is a Jewish person and here is an evangelical person, and they do expect some big things to happen.
In potem se pojavita en judovski strokovnjak in en evangeljski strokovnjak in pričakujeta, da se bodo zgodile neke velike stvari.
So this is everywhere actually. In Adventism, of course,
V adventizmu seveda,
few books have been published, some by your former speaker, John Paulin.
nekatere knjige so objavljene, eno od teh je objavil John Paulin, ki je prav tako bil na naši biblijski konferenci.
You know Ranko, so he published as well something.
Ranka Stefanoviča poznate, tudi on je pisal o tem.
And I'll speak about Mervyn Moore's book after this presentation, the second one.
In v drugem predavanju bom govoril nekaj o knjigi Mervyna Moora.
So people say something is happening.
Ljudje pravijo, nekaj se dogaja.
If you look at Hollywood,
Če pogledate v Hollywood,
Before 1950, there were only 4 movies made with apocalyptic theme. Only 4.
So pred letom 1950 posneli samo 4 filme z apokaliptičnimi temami.
And then every decade the number grew.
In potem je vsako desetletje ta številka rasla.
And this last decade, second decade of the 21st century,
In v drugem desetletju tega 21. stoletja
it's predicted that by 2019 there will be about 80 apocalyptic movies made by Hollywood.
je podana ena napoved, da bo do leta 2019 posnetih 80 filmov z apokaliptično vsebino.
So in the last maybe 65 years,
V zadnjih 65 letih
only
približno,
in the American English-speaking world,
samo v ameriško-angleško govorečem svetu
it's about 233 movies have been made.
je bilo posnetih 233 filmov. 100 tem.
1950 only 4. Today you have 233 counting.
Leta 1950 samo 4, danes imate 233 in številka še raste.
But I mean, if you go to YouTube and just type end times or apocalyptic, there's plenty of stuff.
In če obiščete YouTube, pišete apokaliptično ali apokaliptika, konec časa, boste prav tako našli ogromno stvari.
You know what is interesting as well, that if you Google Adventist speakers,
Prav tako je zanimivo, da če pogooglate adventistične govornike,
there is one that I will not name.
je eden, ki ga sicer ne bom imenoval,
It says Jesus will come on the 1st of January 2022.
ki pravi, Jezus bo prišel 1. januarja 2022.
Yeah. So this is where we are today. Through different media, different people, they flood the society with this apocalyptic thinking.
Tu smo torej danes skozi različne medije, različni ljudje preplavljajo družbo s tem apokaliptičnim razmišljanjem.
But the problem is there are so many views about this thing.
Toda težava je, da glede tega obstaja toliko različnih pogledov.
Now, historically,
Zgodovinsko
the church has imagined the judgment to look like this.
si je cerkev predstavljala sodbo nekako tako.
Oh, there is Christ.
Tam je Kristus,
There's an angel down there.
angel tukaj spodaj,
He has scales.
ki ima tehtnico,
He has some sort of scroll.
prav tako ima zvitek
And, well, he judges people. And he puts one on the right-hand side and some on the left-hand side.
in sodi ljudi in nekatere postavi na levo, druge na desno stran.
Basically, people imagined that this would happen sometime at the end of time.
Ljudje so si v glavnem predstavljali, da je to nekaj, kar se bo zgodilo nekoč nekje ob koncu časa.
But they also were confused because they believed in immortal souls.
Toda prav tako obstajala velika zmeda, ker ljudje so verjeli v neumrljivo dušo.
And so in some personal way, this was also happening to them when they died.
In zato se je na nek osebni način to dogajalo njim tudi, ko so umrli, tako so razumeli.
And this judgment, when you died, you ended up either in the bliss of heaven or the pains of the hell.
In na podlagi te sodbe so verjeli, da si končal ali v blaženosti nebes ali v bolečinah pekla.
And it's very confusing to people. It was a scary picture.
Ljudje je to zmedlo in tudi slika na nek način strašljiva.
You know, there is a book by one of the Puritans called Holy Rules about Holy Living and Holy Dying.
Nek puritanec je napisal knjigo z naslovom Sveta pravila o svetem življenju in svetem umiranju.
And basically the book prepares you to die.
In knjiga vas v bistvu pripravlja na smrt.
Now, the Protestant Reformation, when it came in 16th century,
Ko je prišla protestantska reformacija v 16. stoletju,
do you think they changed this?
mislite, da so spremenili kaj glede tega?
Not a single bit.
Niti malo ne.
No, they didn't. And so the Lutheran, the Reformed wings, the radical wing of the Reformation, all of them,
Torej, luteransko krilo reformacije, reformirano krilo, radikalno,
they just left it, as it is.
preprosto ta slika je ostala nespremenjena.
Is this a biblical picture to you?
Je to svetopisemska slika?
Yeah, no.
Ne? Ja?
So, what does the Bible say about the big day of the Lord?
Kaj torej pravi svetopismo o velikem gospodovem dnevu?
And to get the gospel, the full gospel out today, this afternoon, I first need to give you the big overview of what it is in the Bible.
Da bi dobili sliko, veliko sliko o tem velikem gospodovem dnevu, vam moram najprej dati pregled tega, kar o tem piše svetopismo.
So I'm a systematic theologian,
Jaz sem sistematski teolog,
so I want to give you a coherent, systematic, meaningful understanding of this event.
zato vam želim dati skladno sistematsko razumevanje te teme.
Because it's been deeply misunderstood in Christianity and outside as well, of course, in Christianity.
Je v samem krščanstvu, pa tudi zunaj njega, ta tema močno napačno razumeta.
What I will tell you this early afternoon is that the Day of the Lord is a complex historical activity of God, which involves several interlinked events.
To, kar vam bom povedal danes popoldan, je, da je veliki gospodov dan kompleksna božja aktivnost, ki vključuje različne med seboj povezane dogodke.
So, let's begin.
Torej, začnimo.
Here is the first text, which you know, and Zmago can read it.
Torej, tu je prvo besedilo iz 1. Tesaloničanom 5:1-4. Kar pa zadeva čase in trenutke, bratje, ni treba, da bi vam pisali o tem, saj sami natančno veste, da bo gospodov dan prišel, kakor pride tat po noči. Ko bodo govorili mir in varnost, tedaj bo nenadoma prišla nadnje poguba, kakor pride porodna bolečina nad nosečnico in ne bodo ubežali. Vi, bratje, pa niste v temi, da bi vas ta dan presenetil, kakor tat.
It's a text you know.
Besedilo, ki ga poznate.
What does Paul mean by the day of the Lord here?
Kaj Pavel misli s tem, ko uporablja naziv gospodov dan tukaj?
Tell me.
Povejte mi.
Second coming?
Drugi prihod?
Yes,
Da,
and much more.
ampak še veliko več.
Because you know what? Because Paul is a Hebrew thinker.
Veste, zakaj to govorim? Zato, ker Pavel je hebrejski mislec.
And for him, his scriptures are the Old Testament scriptures.
In za njega in njegovo svetopismo je stara zaveza.
And we find him going back, by the way, referring back to Old Testament scriptures all the time, of course.
In seveda v njegovih delih vidimo, kako se ves čas vrača nazaj in omenja starozavezne spise.
And now, the second question to you.
In drugo vprašanje?
What does the day of the Lord mean in Old Testament scriptures?
Kaj gospodov dan pomeni v starozaveznih spisih?
What was it about?
Zakaj je šlo pri gospodovem dnevu? Judgment Day.
Judgment Day.
Sabat.
You know, when you read these descriptions in the Old Testament,
Ko berete starozavezna besedila,
and especially the phrase itself began to be used from the letter prophets onwards,
in sam naziv, ki ga uporabljajo kasnejši preroki in naprej,
it's not about one thing. You discover a range of things.
pravzaprav ugotovite, da ne gre za eno stvar, ampak da gre za cel niz stvari.
It involves the restoration of true worship,
Vključuje obnovo resničnega pravega bogoslužja,
defeat of God's enemies,
poraz božjih sovražnikov,
bringing God's enemies to worship God, to Jerusalem, to temple.
to, da božji sovražniki pridejo v Jeruzalem, v tempelj in tam častijo Boga.
It was about rebuilding the temple.
Gre tudi za obnovo templja,
It was about the restoration of the paradise.
za obnovo raja.
And yes, it was about the coming of the Messiah as well.
In da, vključuje tudi prihod Mesija.
So range of things.
Pravzaprav cel niz stvari.
So when Apostle Paul speaks in this text about the day of the Lord,
Ko apostol Pavel v tem besedilu govori o gospodovem dnevu,
he is someone who understands the Old Testament concept.
je on seveda tisti, ki razume ta starozavezni koncept.
And yes, he means the second coming of Jesus, but much more.
Seveda misli na Jezusov drugi prihod, to da misli vključuje še veliko več.
How do I know?
Kako vem?
Because of the next text,
Zaradi naslednjega besedila.
1 Corinthians.
Prvo pismo Korinčanom, 15. poglavje, 22. do 28. vrstica. Kakor namreč v Adamu vsi umirajo, tako bodo v Kristusu tudi vsi oživljeni. Vendar vsak po vrsti, najprej kot prvina Kristus, potem pa tisti, ki so Kristusovi ob njegovem prihodu. Nato bo dovršitev ali konec, ko bo kraljevanje izročil Bogu Očetu in uničil vsakršno poglavarstvo ter sleherno oblast in moč. Kajti on mora kraljevati, dokler ne položi vseh sovražnikov pod njegove noge. Kot zadnji sovražnik bo uničen na smrt, kajti vse je položil pod njegove noge, ko pa pravi vse je podvrženo, je jasno, da razen tistega, ki mu je vse podvrgel. Ko pa mu bo vse podvrženo, se bo tudi sin sam podvrgel njemu, ki mu je vse podvrgel, da bo Bog vse v vsem.
So, po vrsti, potem, nato. See, sequence.
Tukaj vidite določeno zaporedje besede po vrsti, potem, nato.
He speaks about an order that is part of the day of the Lord.
Apostol govori o nekem vrstnem redu, ki je del Gospodovega dne.
He says afterwards, then, when, after in English.
Govori potem, nato, zatem.
So when he thinks about how the end will come, it's not squashed together into one event.
Ko razmišlja torej o tem, kako bo prišel konec, to ni vse skupaj stisnjeno v en dogodek.
But the events follow one after another.
Ampak govori o dogodkih, ki sledijo drug drugemu.
And these events, in fact, are like a staircase leading somewhere.
In ti dogodki so pravzaprav kot stopnišče, ki nekam pelje.
And where it leads, it's to the destruction of evil and God being all in all.
In pripelje do uničenja zla in do tega, da je Bog vse v vsem.
So, what is the precise order he mentions?
Kakšen je torej vrstni red, ki ga omenja?
So, let's have a look here. First he says,
Poglejmo si torej to sliko.
there's just a comment about death.
Tukaj je en
which is
komentar o smrti,
not a transition to the day of the Lord. For him, it's not.
ker za Pavla smrt ni prehod v dogodke Gospodovega dne.
Day of the Lord comes at a certain point in history, not after individual people die.
Gospodov dan pride v določenem trenutku v zgodovini, ne potem, ko ljudje umrejo.
So he says, first he makes alive believers at his coming.
Najprej pravi, da oživi vernike ob svojem prihodu.
Okay? And then he says something about, you can put everything in.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. Then he says something about putting an end to the rule, when he puts an end to rule and all authority.
Potem govori nekaj o koncu vsakršne vladavine in oblasti.
When he delivers the kingdom to God, he says.
Potem o izročitvi kraljestva Bogu.
Then God will be all in all, the final stage.
In potem o zadnji stopni, ko bo Bog vse v vsem.
So, coming and resurrection first.
Torej, Jezusov prihod in vstajenje.
Then just before the last one,
In potem tik pred zadnjim.
you have putting an end to authority and rule.
Konec, zaključek vseh oblasti.
We will speak about this in the second presentation.
In v drugem predavanju bomo govorili o tem.
What does it mean that he'll put an end to all rule and authority?
Kaj pomeni, da bo Bog končal vsakršno vladavino in oblast?
Well, I'll just say here, it doesn't mean that he will send an army of well-trained soldiers with good biceps.
Vsekakor ne pomeni, to lahko rečem zdaj, da bo poslal dobro izurjeno vojsko vojakov z velikimi bicepsi
Or an army of angels,
ali vojsko
strong
angelov,
angels.
močnih angelov.
Instead, when Christ reigns, means that he will begin a judicial legal defeat of evil.
Ampak pomeni Kristusova vladavina to, da bo izpolnil sodni, torej legalni sodni konec uničenja zla.
It's a language of judgment, basically.
Dan sodbe, bi rekli.
So, the day of the Lord is less about comprehensive removal of evil, starting, well, not even with the second coming, even though Paul has second coming here, and ending with God being all in all.
In Gospodov dan je torej v Pavlovem razumevanju en niz dogodkov, ki se tukaj v tem besedilu začnejo z Jezusovim prihodom, čeprav v resnici tudi prej, in se končajo s tem, da je Bog vse v vsem.
To more appreciate what I mean by these actions and to place them into the Bible,
Da bi to bolje razumeli in postavili v svetopismo,
I need to take you through the big biblical narrative to understand its logic.
vas moram popeljati skozi široko svetopisemsko pripoved, ki nam pomaga razumeti to logiko.
So when you open the Bible, what you have is a good story about creation, right? God who
Ko
created.
odprete svetopismo, imate na začetku zgodbo, poročilo o stvarjenju.
So Genesis 1, Genesis 2, there is God creator and creation.
Prva Mojzesova, prvo in drugo poglavje, Bog stvarnik in stvarstvo.
And the creation is dependent on God for life, for everything.
In stvarstvo je odvisno od Boga za življenje in za vse.
This is the biblical worldview.
To je svetopisemski svetonazor.
This is what it means to have biblical worldview, that we are creation and there is God who sustains us.
To pomeni, da imamo svetopisemski svetonazor, ko razumemo, da smo mi stvarstvo in Bog stvarnik, ki nas vzdržuje.
But then in chapter 3 something happens.
Toda na to se v 3. poglavju nekaj zgodi.
Zlo.
Pride zlo.
And so this clever, cunning serpent deceives Adam and Eve and says, you are not dependent on God.
In ta pametna in prekanjena kača zapelje Adama in Evo in jima pravi, vidva nista odvisna od Boga.
You will not die.
Ne bosta umrla.
And so people believed him and we began to walk our own journey.
Ljudje so to verjeli in od takrat hodimo po neki svoji poti.
And what does God do? So this is stage 2, you may call it, or act 2 in the
To je
biblical story.
drugo dejanje ali druga stopnja, kot bi to imenovali. Kaj se potem zgodi?
It's a story where evil emerged.
To je zgodba o tem, kako se je pojavilo zlo.
You know, in a Hebrew Bible,
V hebrejskem svetem pismu,
I mean in a Hebrew text, you got chapter 3 beginning, V'hanachash haya, which means, and the serpent was.
v 3. poglavju se je to besedilo začne z besedami in kača je bila.
Who is the serpent? Where is he from? What does he want?
Kdo je kača, odkot je kača, kaj hoče?
And you don't get the answers.
In odgovora na to vprašanje ne dobite v besedilu.
You will have to wait for the answers in Act 6, which will come. And that's my point.
Na odgovor morate počakati do 6. dejanja, ki pride.
And this will be the day of the Lord. So, in between, after evil comes,
Potem, ko pride zlo,
God gives a promise to undo what the serpent has brought.
Bog obljublja, da bo uničil to, kar je prinesla kača.
And how will he do it?
In kako bo to naredil?
Well, he will do it through sending somebody through humanity,
Naredil bo to tako, da bo poslal nekoga skozi človeštvo
and those people are named
in ti so imenovani
in the Bible.
v svetem pismu.
Abraham, Israel, David being part of those, and from David, somebody from his seed, from his line.
David, Abraham, Izrael, od Davida naprej nekdo, ki je njegov potomec.
This stage in the Bible is from Genesis 3 till the end of the Old Testament.
In to obdobje v svetem pismu je opisano od 1. Mojzesove 3. poglavja do konca Stare zaveze.
God is making clear how he will undo evil.
Bog jasno pove, kako bo uničil zlo.
And then we have a transition stage in the
Potem
Bible.
imamo stopnjo prehoda.
And just as evil emerged in stage 2 in Genesis 3, so the solution comes through this stage of the Messiah.
In tako kot se je zlo pojavilo, prihaja sedaj rešitev za težavo zla skozi Mesija.
This is the story in the Gospels.
To je zgodba evangelijev.
And that there is somebody who begins to act on all the promises in the Old Testament.
In tukaj imamo nekoga, ki deluje skladno z vsemi obljubami, ki so v Stari zavezi.
And then start something new. You would expect the kingdom to be there.
In potem se začne nekaj novega. Pričakovali bi, da bo kraljestvo tu,
But actually, first, God needs to convince people in their hearts before he can take them to his kingdom.
toda najprej mora Bog prepričati ljudi v njihovem srcu, preden jih lahko odpelje v svoje kraljestvo.
The solution to evil has been provided, but it has to be preached and told to people to change their hearts and minds.
Rešitev za zlo je bila priskrbljena, toda o tej rešitvi je potrebno govoriti ljudem, da bi se lahko spreobrnili.
So the kingdom is already, but not yet.
Kraljestvo je že zdaj, vendar ne še.
It's already. People's attitude to God can change,
Človekova drža do Boga, njegova miselnost se lahko spremeni,
but physically we live in this world.
toda fizično, telesno smo še vedno v tem svetu.
And now comes why we are here
In
this afternoon.
zdaj pridemo do tega, zaradi česar smo danes popoldan tukaj.
Then the story goes through two other main stages. And one is judgment,
Potem gre zgodba skozi dve glavni fazi, ena je sodba
and this is the one that the Bible calls the day of the Lord.
in to je tisto, kar Sveto pismo imenuje Gospodov dan.
And it's not about one thing, it's not about second coming.
Ne samo ena stvar, ne samo drugi prihod.
It's a complex event where the mysterious serpent will be unmasked.
Ampak kompleksen dogodek, v katerem bo skrivnostna kača razkrinkana.
So just as he appeared in Genesis 3 without any explanation,
Tako kot se je ta kača pojavila v prvi Mojzesovi 3 brez razlage,
so the whole set of the book of Revelation from chapter 12, when it goes into the specific very end time,
tako vso razodetje od 12. poglavja naprej, ko se specifično ukvarja z dogodki časa konca,
is immediately about the serpent, the old dragon called Satan, right?
govori o kači, starem zmaju, Satanu.
And this is where our focus will be.
In na to se bomo osredotočili.
And then comes finally in the big biblical story,
In potem v tej veliki svetopisemski zgodbi končno pridemo
after all evil is gone, new creation.
do tega, da je zbrisano vse zlo in imamo novo stvarjenje, novo stvarstvo.
So there are these three major transitional events which we can recognize.
Imamo 3 dogodke prehoda, ki jih lahko prepoznamo.
The origin of evil, the solution of evil, and the end of evil.
Izvor zla, rešitev za zlo in konec zla.
And you want to have a full gospel, you better understand how evil is also removed.
Če želite imeti celovito evangelijo, morate razumeti in govoriti o tem, kako bo zlo odstranjeno.
Because you know the problem is that evil was not removed when Jesus died on the cross.
Ker težava je v tem, da zlo ni bilo odstranjeno, ko je Jezus umrl na križu.
And this is why I said to you this morning that Christianity at large is toothless when it comes to how evil is removed.
In zato sem danes zjutraj tudi rekel, da je krščanstvo nasplošno gledano nemočno, ko gre za to, kako bo zlo odstranjeno.
Because their main emphasis is on the cross, which is positive on one hand,
Ker glavni poudarek je na križu, kar je seveda po eni strani pozitivno,
but on the other hand they leave out something very important.
ampak na drugi strani je izpuščeno veliko pomembnega.
Okay, now it's not only Paul who knows something about this unique event that God will perform one day.
Seveda ni Pavel edini, ki nekaj ve o tem edinstvenem dogodku, ki ga bo Bog naredil nekega dne.
Apostle John,
Apostol Janez
in his book Revelation,
v svoji knjigi Razodetje
beautifully develops what Paul sketches now for us as well.
čudovito razvija to, kar je Pavel samo skiciral za nas.
And so, sorry, just one more, just to make a point that the day of the Lord responds to Genesis 3.
Samo da poudarim še to, da torej Gospodov dan nekako odgovarja na prvo Mojzesovo 3.
And so we will speak about what you see on the screen, how the problem of evil when it emerged,
In govorili bomo o tem, kako se zlo, ko se je pojavilo,
it's going to be addressed.
in težava zla rešuje.
All right, this brings us to Revelation.
In to nas pripelje do razodetja.
So what do we find in Revelation? And we find a nice sequence there.
Kaj najdemo v razodetju? Tam najdemo lep vrstni red.
It begins in chapter 11. I'll come there a little bit later. But if you look at from chapter 13, chapter 12 is a war in heaven, of course.
12. poglavje je vojna v nebesih. Sam vrstni red se začne že v 11. in kasneje bomo prišli do tega.
And so you have the serpent there, being the main actor.
V 12. poglavju imate kačo kot glavnega akterja.
Chapter 13 is what he's doing.
13. poglavje opisuje, kaj počne.
So you have a story about the persecution of the beast, their activity against God and God's people.
In zato imate tam zgodbo o zverih, ki preganjajo in vršijo različne aktivnosti proti Božjemu ljudstvu in Bogu.
Chapter 14,
14. poglavje.
God's response to the serpent and the beasts, right?
Božji odziv, Božji odgovor na zveri in na kačo.
In one word, judgment.
Z eno besedo sodba.
Then in chapter 15, 16,
Potem v 15. in 16. poglavju,
so in chapter 14, judgment is announced that it's coming, it's going to deal with what the beast is doing.
v 14. poglavju imamo napoved sodbe, torej povedano je o tem, kaj se bo zgodilo.
And then you have in chapter 15 and 16 the end of the judgment.
V 15. in 16. poglavju pa imate konec sodbe.
Actually, the end of one aspect of the judgment.
Pravzaprav konec enega vidika sodbe.
You got the 7 last plagues,
Imate 7 zadnjih šip,
and then you got in chapter 16 a text said, which says, and your judgment has been finished.
in potem v 16. poglavju imate besedilo, ki pravi, in tvoja sodba je končana.
And we'll explain this in a second presentation.
In
more.
to bomo pojasnili potem v drugem predavanju.
And then you have from chapter 17 to 19,
Potem pa od 17. do 19. poglavja
the picture is going back and forth about the situation.
imate sliko, ki niha sem in tja med različnimi dogodki.
You got the second coming described as well. in
Imate
that chapter.
opisan drugi Jezusov prihod.
And then starts the second part of the judgment, you may say.
Potem pa se začne nekaj, kar lahko imenujemo druga faza sodbe.
In chapter 20, judgment after the second coming,
V 20. poglavju sodba po drugem prihodu.
something we usually call millennial judgment.
Nekaj, kar običajno imenujemo tisočletna sodba.
And right after this, in the second part of chapter 20, we have what we call the executive judgment.
In
Third
potem v
part.
drugem delu 20. poglavja imamo nekaj, kar imenujemo izvršna sodba v 20. poglavju. Torej.
And this is the kind of the third part of the judgment.
In to je tretji del sodbe.
And then in Revelation 21-22, something new starts, a new stage.
V 21. in 22. poglavju pa se začne nekaj novega, nova faza, novo obdobje.
New creation. When there is no more evil, then new creation starts.
Novo stvarjenje, novo stvarstvo, v katerem ni več zla.
So, if we put together what John is saying, you can see it on your screen.
Če nekako združimo to, kar govori Janez,
It's interesting that for John, the judgment or the day of the Lord doesn't start with the coming of the Messiah, second coming.
je zanimivo to razumevanje, da se za Janez, za Gospodov dan ali sodba ne začne z Jezusovim drugim prihodom.
There is a description of a judgment in Revelation 13 when the beast is doing its bad work on God's people.
V razsodetju 13 imamo zapisano nekaj o sodbi, ko zveri izvaja svoje aktivnosti proti Božjemu ljudstvu.
And Revelation 14 speaks to this time.
In 14. poglavje potem govori o tem trenutku.
And only later is in Revelation the Advent.
In šele kasneje v razodetju pride advent ali Jezusov prihod.
And even then, it's not the end of the day of the Lord.
In celo to še ni konec Gospodovega dne.
So when Jesus comes, nobody goes to the party.
Ko Jezus pride, torej nihče ne gre na zabavo.
Well, maybe for a short while.
Mogoče za kratek čas.
Because then God's people will face its toughest time ever.
Ker takrat se bo Božje ljudstvo soočilo z najtežjim obdobjem svojim.
They will go to a second part of the judgment, the millennial judgment.
Prešli bodo v drugo fazo sodbe, v milenijsko sodbo, tisočletno sodbo.
And we'll speak about this tomorrow morning.
In o tem bomo govorili jutri zjutraj.
But they will be granted access to God's archives.
Ampak Božjemu ljudstvu bo dovoljen dostop do Božjih arhivov.
And it won't be a pleasant period because they will be asking why she is not here.
In to ne bo prijetno obdobje, ker ti postavljena bodo vprašanja, zakaj ta ni tukaj. Ali je?
So, if we put together Paul and John,
Če torej združimo Pavla in Janeza
and actually if you bring in even some Old Testament descriptions, which we will do,
in če v to damo še starozavezne opise, kar bomo tudi
we
naredili,
can get quite a developed understanding of what the day of the Lord is about.
lahko pridemo do precej razvitega razumevanja tega, kaj pomeni Gospodov dan.
I think it was with the arrival of the immortal soul idea when this complex picture has disappeared.
Mislim, da je s prihodom nauka o neumrljivi duši ta kompleksna slika izginila.
Because if you have an immortal soul, this is insignificant.
Ker če imate neumrljivo dušo, potem vse to ni nič vredno.
You die,
Umrete,
and if you loved God,
če ste imeli radi Boga,
you'll be happy right after.
boste takoj srečni.
So, this is why in classical Christianity it doesn't exist. They don't see it in the Bible.
Zato v klasičnem krščanstvu tega ne vidijo v Svetem pismu.
Even within Protestantism,
Celo znotraj protestantizma,
the picture you see there, this is from an evangelical author, quite a famous author.
slika, ki jo vidite tukaj, je iz dela enega evangelskega pisca,
This is how they imagine the end and how God will judge.
kako si predstavlja konec in Božjo sodbo.
So before the first coming of the Messiah, there was Sheol or Hades,
Pred prvim prihodom Mesije je bil Šeol ali Had
and the souls of good and evil were in this place.
in duše hudobnih in pravičnih so bile v tem prostoru.
And so when Christ came, you got the cross there.
Ko je Kristus prišel,
So then
potem
the wicked stayed in Sheol,
so hudobni ostali v Šeolu,
and the verniki went up.
verniki so pa šli gor
So they are happy in heaven.
in zdaj so srečni v nebesih.
And when Christ comes,
In ko Kristus pride,
then what he will do, he will create hell
bo ustvaril pekel
and new creation,
in novo stvarstvo
and basically the souls of those who are in Sheol today, the wicked ones,
in duše teh, ki so danes v Šeolu,
I think they get bodies to experience the pains of hell more.
bodo dobile telesa in doživele bolečino pekla.
And the souls of the verniki, they get bodies to experience the joy of heaven.
Duše
even more.
vernikov pa bodo dobile telesa in doživele radost nebes.
I mean, this picture is driven because they believe in immortal soul.
To sliko poganja verovanje v neumrljivo dušo.
And this is the problem. And if you have this vision of immortal soul,
In v tem je težava, ker če imate to razumevanje neumrljive duše,
then heaven is your home.
potem so nebesa tu vaš dom.
But heaven is not the home for biblical Christians.
Toda nebesa niso dom za svetopisemske kristjane.
Heaven could be a temporary place for the millennial judgment, let's say.
Nebesa so začasen kraj, kjer se odvija tisočletna sodba.
But really our real home is here where we are.
Toda naš pravi dom je tukaj, kjer smo.
Not with this evil around us,
Ne s tem zlom, ki nas obdaja,
but with evil away and newly created.
ampak z zlom, ki je odstranjeno in z novim stvarstvom.
And the complex event, the day of the Lord,
In ta kompleksen dogodek gospodovega dne
tells us basically how God will step by step, actually very sensitively, remove evil from the physical world and also from the world inside and the pains inside God's people.
nam govori o tem, kako bo Bog korak za korakom odstranjal zlo iz sveta in iz naših misli.
So, overall, this is what we then can find about the day of the Lord.
To torej izvemo o gospodovem dnevu.
The day of the Lord, according to Bible writers, begins with
Gospodov dan se, glede na to, kar pravi svetopismo, začne
the first event, which we may call pre-Advent judgment.
s prvim dogodkom, ki ga lahko imenujemo predadventna sodba.
It's a judgment which justifies and vindicates God's people.
To je sodba, ki opraviči Božje ljudstvo.
God and his truth as well is vindicated by it.
Tudi Boga in njegovo resnico.
So it is solely concerned with the faith of those who ever claim to be followers of God. and Jesus.
Predadventna sodba se torej izključno ukvarja z usodo tistih, ki so Kristusovi sledilci.
And we'll speak about this in the next presentation. in
In o
detail.
tem bomo govorili v naslednjem predavanju.
Then
Potem,
comes the second event within the day of the Lord.
potem pride drugi dogodek znotraj velikega gospodovega dne.
We may call it the end of the probation.
Lahko ga imenujemo konec časa preizkušnje.
And the sign of the end of the probation or this judgment is the arrival of the seven last plagues.
In znamenje tega dogodka je prihod 7 zadnjih šip.
And by the way, in the Bible, when you read about them, they are not just local small things, they are global.
In v Svetem pismu, ko beremo o šibah, to niso lokalni dogodki, ampak globalni.
And you have the text, on the screen as well.
Prav tako lahko vidite tudi besedila, kjer je to zapisano.
And then only the third event within the day of the Lord is the coming of the Messiah.
Potem tretji dogodek znotraj gospodovega dne, lahko bi rekli šele tretji dogodek je prihod Mesija.
And this one brings deliverance to the saints, resurrection and eternal life to God's faithful.
Ta prinaša osvoboditev svetih, vstajenje in večno življenje Božjega ljudstva.
So you see, the second advent is not, in English, the blessed hope, but it's a blessed hope.
Torej, drugi Kristusov prihod v angleščini ni tisto edino blaženo upanje, ampak eno od blaženih upanj.
Zmago is a good translator. Then, after this one, God is doing more to remove evil. Because you know what? When Christ will come,
In potem Bog naredi še več za odstranitev zla, ker ko Kristus pride,
your pains, your feelings of injustice
bodo vaše bolečine, vaše občutki krivice, krivičnosti
will still be there
Še vedno tu.
in your hearts and minds.
v vaših mislih in vašem srcu.
You'll get a new body, which is absolutely fine and will come,
Dobite novo telo, ki bo popolno,
but the pain will be there.
ampak bolečina bo še tu.
And so God is a good counselor.
Bog je dober svetovalec, dober terapeut.
He will take us to the millennial judgment where we will be confronted with this.
Zato nas bo popeljal na tisočletno sodbo, kjer bomo se soočili z temi vprašanji.
So this is act number 4 in the big event.
To je dejanje številka 4 v tem velikem dogodku.
You may call it the post-advent investigative judgment.
Lahko ga imenujemo poadventna preiskovalna sodba.
We usually call the first one investigative judgment,
Običajno imenujemo dogodek številka 1 preiskovalna sodba,
but it's not the best description.
ampak to ni najboljši opis.
It's far better to call it a vindicative justification judgment.
Veliko boljši opis je, da gre za oprostilno sodbo.
Far more investigation is going on in the post-advent judgment.
Veliko več preiskovanja se dogaja v poadventni sodbi.
So this judgment openly investigates evil and clarifies God's righteousness.
Ta sodba odkrito preiskuje zlo in razjasni Božjo pravičnost.
And then in Revelation 19, for example, and also 20, you have a description of the third advent of Jesus
In
and
potem
his people.
v razodetju 19 in 20 imamo opis tretjega prihoda Jezusa in njegovega ljudstva.
Once it's clear to our hearts and minds why this happened, why that happened,
Ko je enkrat vse v naših srcih in naših mislih razčiščeno, zakaj se je zgodilo to ali ono,
then God ends the millennium
potem Bog končuje tisočletje
and comes back with everybody to this planet
in se vrača z vsemi nazaj na ta planet.
to basically finally declare, announce his judgment.
Da končno objavi svojo sodbo.
And so there is this unique event which is part of the day of the Lord called executive judgment.
In potem imamo ta edinstven dogodek, ki ga imenujemo izvršna sodba in je del velikega gospodovega dne.
If you read in the Bible in chapter 20, it's about evil forces trying to still remove God and his people from the planet.
V Razodetju 20 beremo o opisu, kako sile zla poskušajo odstraniti Boga in njegovo ljudstvo z tega planeta.
So it's the last battle,
Gre za zadnjo bitko,
but it's also about second death,
ampak tudi za drugo smrt.
because then and there evil stops.
Ker takrat in tam se zlo konča.
And not just, physically, but also it stopped for God's people before.
Ne samo fizično, telesno, ampak se konča za Božje ljudstvo tudi v misli.
This is also called the white throne judgment.
To se imenuje tudi sodba belega prestola.
And only then comes new creation.
In potem pride novo stvarstvo.
God creates the new earth and Jesus gives his kingdom back to God.
Bog ustvarja novo zemljo in Jezus daje svoje kraljestvo Bogu Očetu.
And as Paul says, God will be all in all.
In kot apostol Pavel pravi, bo Bog vse v vsem.
And the story of humanity will continue where it should have continued in Genesis 1.
In zgodba človeštva se bo nadaljevala tam, kjer bi se morala nadaljevati že v prvi Mojzesovi knjigi, prvem poglavju.
It's also interesting to note here that it's only when you read Revelation 21:22
Zanimivo je tudi zapaziti, da šele ko berete Razodetje 21 in 22,
that God is going to wipe off all the tears.
da bo Bog izbrisal vse solze
And that there is even still tree needed for the healing of the nations.
in da je še vedno potrebno drevo za ozdravitev narodov.
But with evil away and with the questions sorted,
Ampak ko zla ni več, ko so dani vsi odgovori na vprašanja,
I suppose the emotions will come in place at some point.
se bodo čustva uredila v določeni točki.
So, all I want to tell you is that when you read this biblical description of the day of the Lord,
Torej, to, kar vam želim povedati, je, da ko berete o svetopisemskem opisu velikega gospodovega dne,
it first of all tells you a story about a good and sensitive God.
vam predvsem pove zgodbo o dobrem in občutljivem Bogu.
Because he very sensibly and sensitively as well removes all evil.
Ker Bog zelo skrbno in tudi z občutkom odstranja vso zlo.
And when you read the descriptions in the book of Revelation, you discover that actually it's only the most stubborn evil that gets cleared away.
In ko berete zgodbo v Razodetju, ugotovite, da je pravzaprav tisto najbolj trdovratno zlo to, ki je na koncu odstranjeno.
We all have been touched by evil.
Vseh nas se je zlo dotaknilo.
And so this is why the day of the Lord is such a good news for all of us.
In zato je Gospodov dan tako dobra novica za vse nas.
The day of the Lord is the time when he provides the answers.
Gospodov dan je trenutek, ko Bog daje odgovore.
It's not good enough when loved one dies
Ni dovolj dobro, ko nekdo ljubljen umre.
to say, don't worry,
Takrat reče,
he, she loved God and Christ, God will resurrect him or her.
on ali ona je ljubil Boga in Boga bo obudil.
It's not a good answer.
To ni dober odgovor.
A far better answer is, you know what? God will take all the time in the world
Veliko boljše je, veste, Bog si bo vzel toliko časa, kot je potrebno.
He will sit down, he will let you investigate all the whys and make you understand.
Sedel bo z vami in vam dovolil raziskati vsa vprašanja, vse zakaj in vam pomagal razumeti.
This is the millennial judgment.
To
We need it.
je pomen sodbe in to potrebujemo.
This is a pastoral answer to people who struggle.
To je odgovor na ljudi, ki se borijo.
Okay, last point. Finally,
Zadnja točka.
the day of the Lord is part of the biblical gospel.
Gospodov dan je del svetopisemskega evangelija.
And rightly understood, it will be linked with the work of salvation as well.
In pravilno, če ga razumemo, bo povezan z delom zveličanja.
Much more than you can imagine.
Veliko bolj, kot si lahko predstavljamo.
So I will speak about this tomorrow.
Zato bom jutri govoril o tem.
Anyway, I pray that this topic will bring us refreshment and assurance and hope for what we face today and also tomorrow.
Seveda, molim in upam, da nam bo ta tema prinesla osvežitev in upanje za to, s čimer se soočamo.
And now we need a refreshment of a break.
Zdaj pa potrebujemo malo odmora, da se osvežimo tudi telesno.
And after the break, I will invite you to discuss the pre-Advent vindicative judgment.
In po odmoru bomo govorili o predadventni oprostilni sodbi.
And I will link the judgment with salvation there.
In tam bom povezal sodbo z zveličanjem.